Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did I hear that correctly? I actually read a real book this month. Hello all my otaku friends, my name is Otaku, and welcome back to my channel. This is my June manga reading log. I read a huge variety of series, over 70 volumes. I read some fantastic stuff and also some stuff that I dropped. It really wasn't good. Stay tuned. Now before we get started today, because it's my channel, I can do whatever the hell I want, which means we are talking about a book first. This is Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. I'm not going to go too in depth about this, but if you're like me, who's a manga reader and wants to start getting back into real novels, this is a great introductory piece. It's a very dry writing style, super easy to follow if you're a huge fan of slice of life space. So think Planetes, Space Brothers, things like that. You're really gonna enjoy this. It's super cool. I highly recommend this book. So I want to start this reading log with some of the most interesting reads that I had. Then we'll go into more of the normal stuff that everybody's been reading. But I will save my favorite manga for last, so make sure you stay around for that. As always, if you enjoy the contents of my video and you are not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. You can keep in contact with me also on Instagram and my anime list. And of course, the Right Stuff summer sale is going on. If you feel so obliged, please use my affiliate link down below in the description. Really helps out the channel. So first up is a manga I just cannot shut up about. I'm sorry if you're an Instagram follower, I just keep talking about it. This is Maison Ikkoku volumes 1 to 6, and these are in these 1.5 omnibuses right here. So if I can compare this manga to anything, this is like the Komi Can't Communicate predecessor, except that it's just done way better with a way better cast of characters. This manga will make you laugh, this manga will make you want to love, and honestly, this manga is just such a unique premise with adult characters. It's just such a refreshing change of pace, and even though it's episodic in nature, it just does it right. And I really love it. I love the artwork. I love the way the flow is. I like the funny humor and the banter with the dialogue. It's just done so well. Please check this out. Rumiko Takahashi is phenomenal. If there's anything in this log that I say pick up right now, it's probably going to be Maison Ikkoku. Next up is a new series, volumes 1 to 5 up to date of Ragna Crimson. And look, I don't like dark fantasy, okay? That's probably why I haven't read Berserk yet, because honestly, I just can't get into stuff like that. But this really kind of changed my opinion, kind of turned things around, and I'm super excited about that because this is a really cool manga. I like the superpowers. I like the characters for the most part. I think the artwork is some of the best artwork in manga, and I think that the pacing of this is action-packed, crazy, magical. So if you like stuff like that, then this is probably going to be the one for you, and you're getting a big bang for your buck because they come in these really thick volumes. You're getting lots of pages in one volume. Next up is a manga I cannot recommend to everybody. It's pretty polarizing and it's definitely a very mature subject, and that's Sensei's Pious Lie. This is volumes 1 and 2, 8-volume series by Inio Asano's wife, Akane Torakai. And look, I will say this dives into sexual abuse and rape and the victim and abuser mindset and the ramifications of their daily lives after this. It's really unique and it will make you think a lot, but it gets really dark and it gets really messed up. So, you know, I really cannot recommend this for everybody, but I think what I really enjoy about this is that it is so different than anything else. And this does not shy away from really sensitive material. And I can appreciate a manga that will go past the lines and really grind your gears a little bit. So yeah, I really enjoy this. This is definitely something different in my reading log, and I will continue to read this. Last up here in this stack, everybody was reading it. I want to give my thoughts here on the ending. This is Wotakoi Love is Hard for an Otaku Volume 6 or Volume 11. This finishes the series here, and I will say I love the ending. I thought the ending was very well done. It was satisfying. What I really would have loved to see is kind of an epilogue type of thing, like in Sweat and Soap. Just give me 2 more chapters, just finalize a couple more things, or maybe give me a glimpse into the future. Now, I will say there is a spin-off manga. Will we see that published in English? I really don't know, to be honest with you, but for what it's worth, I think that it wasn't a bad ending, which is, I think, very important for a series like this. It was very wholesome, it wrapped things up nicely, and you can walk away going, ah, what a nice romance. So this next manga here is a manga I cannot recommend for everybody. Honestly, like 95% of the population I really don't think should read this because it just scarred the hell out of me, and that is Yagi the Bookshop Goat. This is a one-shot. You've got a goat who wants to work in a bookstore and he eats all the books, and then you got the wolf manager. You know, I've read very little BL. This is like my 2nd or 3rd BL I've ever read. And this gets really, really R18, like near the end, like 2 instances. And it really ruined the experience for me, because if this was just like a 5-volume shelled out slice of life series, beautiful. It would have been fantastic. But this does some really, like, not gross, because it's not gross, it's just like really R-rated, and I was like, I just wasn't down for it. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think I will dive into BL anymore anytime soon. Now, of course, going in the continuing spirit of Pride Month in June, I did decide to read some Yuri manga, and I'm super glad that I did. I read Doughnuts Under the Crescent Moon Volumes 1 and 2. Apparently, this is a 4-volume series, and honestly, I really, really enjoyed this. Think My Senpai is Annoying, Wotakoi, Sweat and Soap, but like super, super serious. And that's what you're gonna get. Working office girls developing an unsuspecting romance. It's really, really cute. I really like the artwork. I like the dark undertones in here and how there's a lot of self-discovery, both on a romantic level and also a personal level. I think this is very well done, and at 4 volumes, it's not a big investment. So for this one, I do highly recommend you check it out. Next up is a cat manga called Cat Plus Gamer, or Cat Gamer Volume 1 by Dark Horse. This is basically about a gamer girl, 29 years old, takes in a kitten and they have hijinks together. It's really cute and it works really well. There's a lot of gaming references in here, so if you are a video game person, I think you're really, really gonna like this. But I mean, with the video game references, I will say they're kind of corny, to be honest with you, but it is still pretty cool to see. The cat pictures are really cute, and it's cats doing cat things. If you're not in a slice of life, don't pick this up, but for me, this was something that I really enjoyed. Next up is a manga that I finished. I started it last month, Aria the Masterpiece. So I read volumes 7 to 12, so I finished Aria. And like I said in my previous reading log, I will continue to state here, I think that Aria the Masterpiece is not for everybody. There is definitely going to be some buyer's remorse here. I think you're going to finish this manga, or you're going to start reading it and you're going to start yawning and you're going to go, this sucks. And look, I totally get it. What makes this slice of life work is the world. Each episode dives into this different aspect of this sci-fi world, and you learn a little bit more about the daily life of this Venetian Mars lifestyle, and it's really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed the cast of characters. I thought all of the 6 girls were great, and the ending was perfect. So well done, and it wrapped things up nicely. It moved things along to the next generation. It worked well. So if you are a shonen seinen person pretty heavily and you pick this up because of FOMO, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Okay, one more cat manga here. We have Cats of the Louvre by Taiyo Matsumoto. I just started reading his works last month in this beautiful, beautiful hardcover. And look, I will say this. I saw the cats. I like cats, so I got the cats. It's the Louvre. You've got artwork. I wasn't very entranced with that, to be honest with you. And I thought this was just going to be kind of a thing with people walking around the Louvre and you looking at pictures and stuff like that. But what we get here in this manga is a really, really interesting mystery thriller manga, trying to discover this supernatural aspect of the Louvre, what is going on here. You've got basically two worlds, the human world and the cat world. The cat world is super unique, super kind of creepy, to be honest with you. And I really enjoyed this. Super underrated Taiyo Matsumoto work. I don't think a lot of people really talk about this, and it really should be on a lot of people's radar, because I think that this is a really cool read and not one to kind of just brush under the wayside because we've got cats and we've got paintings. You know, two pretty polarizing and boring topics, but check it out, really, I insist. Last up here in this stack, we have Unofficial Hatsune Mix, volumes 1 to 3 in this Dark Horse Omnibus. And what do I have to say about this? This is definitely one you can skip over. It's not gonna, you know, blow your mind or anything like that. I only recommend you pick this up if you're a Hatsune Miku fan. And I'm not necessarily a Hatsune Miku fan, but I do like her music, and I love slice of life manga, and I like episodic slice of life manga, so this was right up my alley. You know, by the third volume, it was really starting to hit its stride with the funny scenarios and the funny stories. But, you know, definitely with episodes, you're gonna have some hits and you're gonna have some misses. So there were some hits, there were some misses in here. Got a 7 out of 10 for me. I may sell it off, I may keep it. It's a really nice addition, so I may keep this one, but you know, it's not something that I think you should pick up for full retail or even at a normal sale price. Just get it when it's like super discounted. Alright, this next stack of manga here is all manga that a lot of people are reading at the current moment, so I wanted to put the, you know, more unique stuff here at the beginning. So let's rapid fire through some of these so that you can hear my thoughts on the ongoing stuff. First off, I've completed Chainsaw Man. I read volume 11 this month. I didn't rank it. I've said this a couple times already. I didn't really get the pacing of Chainsaw Man, which is why I didn't necessarily like this series as much as I think I should have. I think it's really dark. I like the twist near the end of the series. I think it was very well done, and I think it wrapped up very well. You know, this volume 11 had a fantastic battle. It was really fun to watch, or read, I guess. But what I will say is this definitely deserves a reread in its entirety, one whole way through. So yeah, this will be something that will be done later. Next up is Black Clover, volume 29. This was a fantastic volume. We are in the nitty-gritty of the Black Triad arc, Devil Union arc, whatever you want to call it, and it's awesome. It's so good. I think that every arc of Black Clover has gotten better and better, and I really wasn't sure about this arc, to be honest with you, because the arc before this was the Elf Reincarnation arc, and that was one of my favorite shonen arcs ever. But this one definitely is starting to really pick up the pace, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. I love the antagonist crew in this one. I think that they're super unique, and I like the advancement of all of our characters as well throughout this arc. Next up is Rumiko Takahashi's short story compilation. This is Came the Mirror and Other Tales. This encompasses 6 short stories, basically. 5, and then 1 is like an autobiographical work, so 1 is kind of a throwaway. Out of those 5 stories, I think that 3 of them, 1 I loved, 2 I liked, and 2 I didn't like that much. So this one is a take it or leave it with Rumiko Takahashi. You really don't need this. I picked it up because I'm starting a Rumiko Takahashi collection, so if you're a big fan of her stuff, pick this up. Don't start with this. There are better things to start with. Alright, here we are with a light novel. I read 86, volume 6. This finishes the United Kingdom arc, and you know, volumes 5 and volume 6 are all together here. This was fantastic. It was so dark, so gritty. We are learning more and more about this world. I love that between the action, we're getting lore. And it's substantial lore that makes you want to keep turning the page to keep learning more. And there's very evident progression going on in this light novel. It's just not stagnant, and I really like that. So yeah, 86, I'm really enjoying this read. All right, here we go with Prison School, volumes 1 and 2. This is a ecchi rom-com series with fantastic artwork, really inappropriate scenes, but a really, really funny cast of characters, a really unique vibe. This really doesn't have any sort of censorship in terms of staying within the box. It's willing to go that extra mile to kind of push the boundaries of ecchi, which I really like in this rom-com setting. So I accompany it to Sensei's Pious line that they're going to go for it in that retrospect. So I really enjoyed this read overall. I want to pick up more if they are on sale. It's not a big high on my to-do list right now, but I really, really did enjoy this first volume. Next up is Blue Lock Volume 1, the new soccer manga that's just hidden the world by storm. And this first volume was fantastic. You know, this is a manga, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I just need to read all of Blue Lock to just together at once to get that vibe. And I get that, but I'm going to be reading this like immediately every 2 months once this comes out, because I love this. I think that this is a manga that we can ingest volume by volume, and I really like the battle royale aspect of it. I think that the way they presented this manga in the first chapter, giving us all the information that we needed without overloading us with an information dump, while continuing even in the second chapter to throw us into this action-packed thing with amazing artwork. Fantastic first volume in every sort of retrospect here. So yeah, highly recommend Blue Lock, obviously. All right, continuing on here, we have Alice in Borderland volumes 1 to 4. This was great. This was fantastic. Another Death Games manga like Blue Lock, but except this time people are actually dying. And my goodness, the horse, I had goddamn nightmares after that one. That one was really messed up. Oh my gosh. And what I really also liked was that in this second omnibus volume, big stuff happens at the end of volume 3. And I just didn't expect it to go in that direction so soon. So that really threw me for a loop. But I really appreciated that, because I think that it just kind of presented to us that, hey, the mangaka is willing to just do whatever the hell he wants to do, and we're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. So yeah, it was really, really interesting. I don't know about this hotel arc at the end of volume 4. I don't know if I'm really going to like this. It's a unique premise, but I just don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Next up, we have Ciguatera Omnibus 2. So this is volumes 3 and 4. What I will say about Ciguatera is this one definitely pushed the boundaries. That's why I love it. Flowers of Evil, rom-com, that retrospect. So that's really, really cool. I love the artwork. I like a lot of the things that happened in this manga, like a lot of different scenes where you're like, whoa, that's kind of out of left field. And then at the end of the second omnibus, a lot of things haven't been resolved. So I cannot wait to see how this ends up in the last omnibus, omnibus 3. So if you want a really short series, a different rom-com, then pick up Ciguatera. Okay, next up here is Death Note short stories. I will just say really fast, if you haven't watched the anime or read the manga for Death Note, you need to read that first. Couple of stories in here were really, really cool. The rest of them, you can take it or leave it. This is a nice accompaniment volume. I definitely think everybody should have this in their collection if you like Death Note, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. Next up is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Volume 10. You know, there's nothing to say about Don't Toy With Me. It's super cute, super wholesome. I actually really like Nagatoro now, so I will say that. You know, I didn't like her at the beginning, but I really like her now. And I like the different dynamics going on with all the characters. I like that there are glimpses of drama in this series, which is very much needed in this rom-com aspect. So yeah, Don't Toy With Me. It continues to be a fun, turn your brain off read. All right, last up in this stack here is Shaman King, volumes 22, 23, and 24. Somebody in my last video said that they like this more than Black Clover. I have to just disagree. I think Black Clover, storyline-wise, just has more substance, and I like the powers more in Black Clover. But what I will say is that I don't know why I vibe so much with this artwork and like the ancient lore that's going on in here, but I really do, and I really like it a lot. So yeah, what I think makes Black Clover better than Shaman King is that there isn't one character in Black Clover that I don't like. There are a few characters here in Shaman King I really don't like, and so you have that, and then also this story kind of drags on in comparison to Black Clover, where it continues to just get faster and faster and faster. So yeah, if you have to choose, Shaman King is not the best shonen you can be picking up right now. Alright, one more stack of manga here until we move on to my favorite manga read this month. First up, we have Mieruko-Chan Volume 5. I said this in my manga haul. This manga had to continue with the advancement of the lore to make this interesting, because it was really kind of meh first 2 volumes. Got better in the 3rd, got really good in the 4th, and then we went back down again. So now we're back to boring slice of life, and that's just not okay for me. There was some lore, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. This has to pick up. I'm gonna give it one more volume, but man, if this is the closest thing on the chopping block in my collection right now, I was just so disappointed in this volume. Next up is Cromartie High School Volumes 9 all the way to 15 here, and so I'm almost done with the series. Well, I am done with the series as of recording this video, but you know what I will say about volumes 9 to 12, because this release stopped after volume 12. It just stopped publishing. Whether the company went defunct or they just decided to cut the series, I just don't know. But what I will say is that volumes 10 and 11, they really dragged on, because what this manga does is that they grasp onto a funny scenario, and then the problem with those several volumes right there in the middle was that they just kept dragging that same gag on, and it got really boring. And so that was a huge issue for me, and I think what deterred a lot of readers off at this point of the manga series. It gets so much better later on. He fixes all these problems, but at least at that point where the cut happened in this official publication, we had some issues. Next up is Shuzo Ishimi's Welcome Back Alice Volume 1. Man, Shuzo Ishimi really didn't, bite any bullets this time. He really decided to go for the raunchy stuff within the first chapter. I mean, my goodness, you've got children doing weird stuff already. But what I will say is that this totally gives me Flowers of Evil vibes. There's a trio, another triangle here. So if you like Flowers of Evil, you're probably going to like this a lot. It's got that same drama aspect, so this is very different than Blood on the Tracks for sure. So if you do like Flowers of Evil, get this one. Next up is Asadora Volume 5, Naoki Urasawa's newest work, and Volume 5 wraps up this first arc. So if there's a time for you to get into this work, it's right now, because you're going to get a very conclusive kind of ending here. This is good. This is good. It's not as good as some of the other stuff, I'll be honest with you, because it's pretty slow in the first 2 volumes. Okay, next up here we have Dr. Stone, Volumes 21 and 22. I won't shut up about Dr. Stone. What I will say about this is that Volume 22 ends the arc, and the surprise at the end of this makes reading up to Volume 22 so worthwhile. I mean, it is so cool. It just, every volume I'm like, wow, this is like so much fun. And when I can have fun reading manga, that's a huge win for me. So Dr. Stone, pick it up. Next up is Crimson Shell. This is the same creator as Pandora Hearts and Case Study of Vanitas. You are going to get some super confusing fantasy aspects because this is a fantasy one-shot, and with it being a one-shot, it's super short, so you're going to throw away some things, especially some of the side characters. But if you are a big fan of their work, highly recommend you grab this. If not, you can take it or leave it. You don't need it. Next up is Frieren Beyond Journey's End Volume 4. This was fantastic. We get introduced to a new character who is involved in their story in a really meaningful way, and just adds a great dynamic to the cast of characters. I really enjoyed this, and I'm really liking the great balance of slice of life and action in this manga. It's getting really good. This series has been great from the beginning, but now it's really getting good. Next up is Golden Kamuy Volume 26. Man, we are getting into the nitty-gritty of this manga. This finishes the Jack the Ripper arc, I think is what you call it. And it was really, really good, really funny, great dynamic between all of the characters, and we've got a big twist at the end here too. So Golden Kamuy is starting to really shape up to be something special, and with it ending at 31 volumes, this is going to be a good one. Here we have Toilet Bound Hanako Kun Volume 0. So what this is it gives us a viewpoint into the pilot chapter of Toilet Bound Hanako Kun, and it also puts in a one-shot as well at the end, and the one-shot is really cool. I really liked it, and I wish I could see that one shot shelled out into a series because it was so messed up. And yeah, so if you're like, you know what, I don't really care about the pilot chapter of Toilet Bound Hanako Kun, I do recommend you check it out because there are some big differences in how that was compared to how the series turned out. But if anything, pick this up for that one shot in here because it's so cool. So yeah, Toilet Bound Hanako Kun Volume 0, loved it. And last up here in this stack is Dragonquest The Adventures of Dai Volume 2. You know, Pop, annoying, getting better, but still annoying. She's pretty cool. So the cast of characters, yeah, I mean, they're getting there. They're getting there. This battle scene going on was really good as well. I can see why people love this manga. I think that for a video game manga, it's just done very well. And I think in terms of like shonen, this is more gravitates on the side of like fun shonen instead of serious shonen, at least for right now. And so I'm really liking it in that retrospect. So there are 5 volumes that I did read that I will not talk about in this video. I do plan on doing a separate video, doing something really special with these. So first up, we have Crazy Food Truck Volume 1, The Elusive Samurai Volume 1, A Galaxy Next Door Volume 1, Naoki Urasawa's Dancing Policeman, and Naoki Urasawa short story compilation NASA. I read all of these volumes, and that's that. Okay, last up is my favorite manga of the month, and if you've made it this far, you've definitely earned it, and that is Taiyo Matsumoto's Tekkonkinkreet Black and White, all-in-one edition, volumes 1 to 3 complete. I absolutely loved this manga. I loved it. It was so perfect as an introduction into Taiyo Matsumoto's work. So you've got these two kids. You've got black and you've got white here on the back. And they're like yin and yang. And that's the whole idea of this manga, is that they counterbalance each other. And black and white are, you could say, they're vigilantes of some sort. They're here to defend their city against the crimes of the adults, spreading pollution and corruption and craziness like that. But along the way, these lines of vigilante justice start to get morphed, and you're seeing this social experiment on the life and what life can do to children, and also the impact of just not being in a stable environment. Along with that, you're getting glimpses into family, doing the right thing for your loved ones, even if it's not what you want, and taking care of those before yourself. And that's what you get between Black and White, the two brothers. On its surface, when you look at this manga, it is a great thriller, action-packed manga, but when you look at this from a deeper level, there are so many things that you can pull about our society from this manga that make you go, man, this is really a fantastic piece of literature. So yeah, if you can find Tekkonkinkreet, pick it up. Right now it's very hard to find. I don't think it's out of print, but it's we just don't know when there's going to be a reprint at some point. But this is a read everybody needs to have, and if you've never been into Taiyo Matsumoto before, this is a great introductory work. And that is it for my June manga reading log. Thank you for coming along for the ride with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.